It is hard. Challenged my mental health, but I'm the better for it. Building my resilience, being a better therapist, business leader. I just wrapped up my 15th healing tour. This particular one was a K-pop BTS themed tour. It was absolutely phenomenal, as in the guests were amazing. People assume, they're like, oh my gosh, you host tours and then you're a therapist and you host healing tours. Ooh, must be hard with the guests. It's a fraction of a challenge, really. Nothing really for this true extrovert that thrives on speaking to hundreds of people about mental health, K-dramas, BTS, K-pop. I could do it. I love it. That's where I'm meant to be. But when I have to put on my founder and CEO hat, I get a little bit, that's where I have to navigate a little bit harder to find my way through. Not because I can't handle it, but because it's not necessarily where I want to be, but I know I need to be, because right now I just created a company. It's only 2 years in the making technically, and I need to be that CEO and make that executive decision. I have a husband who is my COO, but gives me the space and freedom and just encouragement to be the CEO that I believe I can be. I just don't want to necessarily stay there forever. But I had to make an executive decision on my 15th tour, the most recent tour, where I actually had to kind of say straight up, yeah, that's not your call. It's my call. And, I, as the CEO of this company, this is what we're going to do. This is how I say it's going to go. And this is on my own staff. Now, not my full staff, but I had to fight tooth and nail. Thank goodness for some of my staff who fought with me, fellow females. And I think it just took a toll. I'm going to take a few days to process. This is day 8, final, just wrapped up my 15th tour, but it took a toll because there's some triggers here, having grown up as a second-gen Korean American in the US, born in Seoul, and having to fight that all my life, right? The traditions and being talked to, right? And, kind of not seen. Well, sometimes as a female CEO, I'm not seen. I'm not heard when I'm directly giving I would say, not an order, not even a directive, just suggesting things. Hey, this is how I think we should do it. My priority, I'm going to be very clear, as a tour host, not tour guide, as a tour host, is the guests and the experience. I am all about the experience my guests will have, because I'm thinking about healing. What's going to aid their healing and self-discovery? Well, I'm going to provide these experiences, and some of these experiences, I'll be honest with you, my staff will be like, it's kind of costly, maybe out of our budget, but I'm like, you know what though? It's a good activity. So I know that I'm not about the money. Sometimes it'd be great. I think my team thinks, yeah, it'd be nice if you were thinking about the money, but that's not why I sought out to do a tour, being a tour operator, wellness, and media company here in South Korea. No, my mission was to create a community of belongingness, Chung, with my Nuna's Nunchi, and foster your personal growth for the sake of your well-being and mental health, all through fandoms, through K-dramas, and now BTS. And when I was challenged at not just my authority of just even going, we're not going to do this. Yeah, sorry, this is not going to work logistically. I'm being very general because I don't want to be specific and point blame. That kind of goes against my core value. That's not what I'm here to do. I just want to share some learnings and just be authentic, that it was extremely difficult to stand my ground when I thought, I had some doubts going, yeah, logistically, is it going to work? Can it work? But then all the data, this is where data is important. Data, research that my team gave me and I did, it was able to work where we wanted to go to this filming site, famous BTS filming site, and it worked. And I talked about it in a previous video that it was it was like fighting tooth and nail, a tug of war, maybe about power, but really about what made sense on paper. So my message is, sometimes things don't make sense on paper, but mental health is not about that. Nothing's linear mental health, right? So even my tours, it's not linear. Tour guides and other previous people said, it doesn't make sense. That road doesn't make sense to go to this site. Yeah, we can't do it. I go, but you know what? According to data, it does make sense. It's happened. And I believe this would be a great experience for my tour guests. And I love that the tour guests just emphasized how much that filming site meant to them. And that meant the world to me because I had to fight for it. And actually, I'm still dealing with the aftermath, meaning some conflict management and resolution is in store, because I think just some staff with me were like, yeah, we took offense to how Jeannie Tepio, CEO, might have handled it. But don't worry, now I'm even more confident than ever because my guests absolutely loved it. I found healing myself as I led a meditation on the site. And of course, have the support of my husband and my staff. It's just fighting some of the logistical staff. But as I remain firm, so for you female CEOs out there that have to fight those stereotypes, you have to remain grounded in your core values. Yes, I'm like, here's my core value: well-being, mental health. And also, it's not just about core values, but believing in yourself. I was like, I believe that I can make a sound decision. I waver a bit because I'm human, going, they're kind of, I'm getting pushed back. Maybe I just let it lie and just, decide, just call it and be like, you're right, we can't do it. But at the core of me, I felt like my mission and the vision I had was to treat the guests to something special that I felt like I could provide on my tour for healing. And you know what? I want to say it was a terrific decision based on what I've heard from guests. It does matter a lot to get that feedback. It really does. And I wasn't necessarily seeking that feedback because in the deepest of hearts, I knew that I made the right decision. Also because of the emotion I was feeling, but it was definitely difficult. Still stereotypes. I feel like saying, I may look young. That's the benefits of being a K-drama fan and K-pop stan, as I talked about. But I'll always point out, just because I look young, I'll actually have to point out, I got some smarts to me. I'm pretty smart. I know what I'm doing. Isn't that sad that I have to do that? And at first it felt awkward, like I was bragging. But then after a while, I was like, wait a second. This is what I tell my clients. To be confident in what you do and who you are and what you believe in and what you can offer to the world or what you bring to the table. So I'm confident in what I bring to the table. And it's not just because I have a title as owning my own company or being the CEO of my company, but I have to emphasize that in a culture like Korea, to be like, well, technically I'm the CEO and you're not. That sounds bad. But that's kind of what I had to do to make that final decision that made sense for my guests. So I'm sharing this with you as a business leader and as a therapist at the heart of what I'm doing, that you have to just really stay grounded and dig deep and almost like dig your heels in for what you believe in to make things work and what makes sense. And I use Nunchi a lot. Hello, Nuna's Nunchi. Not just reading the room, which is what's kind of defined, just more of like what I'm seeing, feeling, hearing with my tour guests. Do you know, in a given tour, I pivot. I'll be like, yeah, I think we need to start a little bit later. They're tired. You know what? I think we need to skip this activity. Guests don't know. But I'll take something out if I sense they're tired. I don't think other people do that, especially when you're talking about Korea, who follows the rules and they're like, here's itinerary, here you go. That's not how a therapist works, actually. That every person's unique and different. So there are times I'm like, this presents as depression, but it doesn't look that way. Well, this person's different. So I look at things like that. And I've always looked at things like that. And so I don't go in a linear fashion. I'll be like, right now, I need to pivot. Right now, here's what we need to do. Right now, here's my decision. So that's my lesson today, just sharing, just kind of processing with you, even the difficulties I deal with now, the aftermath of the decision I made, because people didn't agree with it, or people were like, yeah, that wasn't a good decision. Well, again, if I have the guests, I want to say well-being and experience in mind of them coming from all over the world to South Korea, then you better believe I made the best decision. 2 beliefs in a row. I do believe that. And for you leaders out there, just to be firm again, especially a reminder, it's lonely at the top. It's lonely at the top. There are times like, hello, can someone help me? But then, you know what? No, you can't help me. I need to make this decision on my own and stay grounded in that. It's hard, but when you're a trailblazer, it's not easy. But the fruit that you may not see right away is beautiful. Patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet.